Howdy pinball enthusiasts, Koji here. This is going to be part one of this video, which will feature William Soccer. It was released in 1964, designed by Norm Clark, and it was a reverse wedgehead game. You can kind of see on the back box there. So, Gottlieb has some of those wedge heads where they come out wider on the top and they're narrow at the bottom. This one is the opposite, William's answer to Gottlieb, which was slightly wider on the bottom and narrower on the top. Incidentally, they do fit quite nicely next to a couple of wedge heads, trying to squeeze them in. Unfortunately, not much room for flippers with their flipper buttons with the hands between the machines, but they do nestle in there quite nicely. Anyway, this will give me a chance with the glass off to kind of go over some of the intricacies of this game, because there are some which are quite difficult to kind of visualize just with gameplay. So without further ado, I'm just going to start the game. And I'll be kind of running my hand over things. So you hear number one. So the balls from balls played just kind of rolls down. Now there's a lower trough behind, underneath the playfield. So the ball is not on the playfield right now. And you actually need to press a rod, which we call a prop, or a prop rod or an elevator rod, which will bring it up through a mechanism. And then it goes directly into the shooter lane. And then you have your normal plunge. Now this game is very important off the plunge. You always got to be thinking, because your first plunge especially is going to pick the team that you're going to be, blue team or red team. It'll come out in the wash based on which one you choose, but if you find yourself more comfortable plunging for one side, I would suggest taking that as probably your number one kind of strategy. If you find that you're always plunging blue, then stick with blue and try and plunge that on the first one. And that can work out. Alternately, if you feel more skillful about how you want to do your plunges, consider the position of the stepper on the advance at the time that you're going to start your first ball. There will be times when this is going to be further to the right or the left, and depending on who has possession here, you might hit that top advance a couple of times before you actually go to select the team. So, if I hit that top advance once or twice, the red's going to advance here. I really want to try and start playing red because I'm only 3 more advances from scoring the goal. If I roll down blue, then I've advanced a couple times. I'm over here, and then I've got more advances to go until I'm going to get back to a goal. Hitting the goal with your selected team is going to score you 100 points. But, of course, being pinball, there are points going both ways. If, for example, the not selected team, you're still going to get points as you run up the playfield. For example, if let's say I launch the ball, I give my advances, and I end up with flip. So now I'm blue, so you can see the back box is now lit with blue team is selected. That's going to be my team for the game. And to start, because once you go through that rollover, it's going to give that team possession of the ball. So blue has possession. It's in blue's zone right now. I'm going to have to get over here until I score. When you have possession, your color of pop bumpers will be lit. Those will give you an advance, and the opposing team will just be single points on the end. So you hear that? It's scoring single points. These guys are scoring 10 points, and it's giving me an advance every time I step forward. Other places to advance are these little spots on the playfield here. Going ahead, getting up there, and then there's my goal. Once you score, just like sort of like field soccer anyway, the other team, the goalie's going to come back, and red team's going to have possession of the ball, and they're going to be coming out of their zone. Hopefully you saw in the back box when they did score that there is the back box animation where that player on the back box actually kicks the ball. It's a real pinball, and there's a solenoid behind there, and it gives it a pulse, kicks it, the ball goes up, and there's a bell actually behind that soccer ball, that orange kind of soccer ball there, and you can see it lights up goal, and it hits the bell, and it gives you a nice little ding. So 3 bells in this game. You got that one, you have the single point bell on the match unit, which is common, and you have the 10, you have the gong, which is common for these Williams, and the cabinet, nice big 6 or 7 inch bell there with a coil that's constantly hitting it for 10 and 100 point switches. So, moving along, as you can see, red now has possession. Now you hit blue, it's not going to advance, of course, but it's just going to give you a single point, and red is the one now advancing. Red going blah, 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 blah. So, regardless, you're still team blue selected. That's what you wanted to get. So, what do? You can either keep hitting advances until red's going to inevitably score, and then you've got possession. Or you could think about looking at these targets. You have two of these targets here. You have one here and one here. Ball to selected team plus 50 points. So let's see. Okay, score 50 points and I'm back to my team. Now this can be a great strat when you're kind of closer to that goal, because you're literally going, okay, they got, and all of a sudden one of your players took it, boom, and then you score again. So let's just kind of work on that. Let's say that happened, and then you go and advance again, and then you score it again, right? So you can get pretty quick goals there that way. Of course, hitting these targets are the next things. Now, there's another kind of ludicrous kind of stuff here. Now, the crazy part here is when you're already on your team and you've got that give ball to selected team. So you can see there, it gave me my 100 points, it gave me my full field run, gave me my 100 points for the goal, it kicked the ball, and it hit that, and it gave me possession again. And then if you can get it to bounce in here a few times, you get a few quick goals and a few 100 points. Very good way to score points. This is a pretty common one on these older games too. You got 100-point targets here. You get a nudge off of the pop-up here. Boom, boom, boom. So that'll get you points pretty quickly as well. This is just an advance when lit, so that's going to depend on the team that has possession of the ball. So when red has possession, no more advances. Red has possession, that advances red. Other things going on here. So you see how these pop bumpers change colors. That's very important. I will change which ones are lit depending on who has possession. Some single point scoring here, and the slings are going to score single points as well. They're going to have quite a lot of kick here. So I got some games sometimes where this sling is going to kick it right back up to the top of the play. So you got a lot of play going on down here. You got a lot of play going on up there. Okay, moving along. The last kind of rule I really wanted to go over was this this idea of these outline specials. So let's just go with blue here. So let's just go with blue here. So blue is on. They keep getting and scoring on red. Red's getting pretty frustrated. So now you can see 10 points. So I've gotten back to 0 on my first score wheel, and I've lit a 1 there for 10 points. And now blue is steal it again and do another advance, score a goal, and here's my right lane special for blue. Alright, that's so at 11 points on either side, so the same thing with red. If red scored 11 points, 11 goals, then you would have this lane lit as well. Once these specials are lit, they are lit for the game. So as you go through balls, if it's going to go on the out lane, you're going to keep getting free games, so you could really rack them up that way. Other ways to score specials in this game are scoring. So this is all configurable in the back box. So 2,000, 2,900, 3,600, 4,100 points could be an example. Pretty low scoring, but I like to keep it low scoring sometimes, so we keep the credits flowing. The other ones, so we also have on here 1 replay for 8 goals scored by the selected team, 1 replay for 14 goals scored by the selected team, 1 replay for 18 goals scored by the selected team. So these outlane specials, we have credits based on the number of goals your selected team is getting, and we have the score specials. So just so much going on. The back box animation, the 3 bells, the 3 scoring areas, lots of play, good play too, because a lot of these games, I find that in this era, the outlines are these gaping out holes, and it's like boom, and it's always going out, and no matter how skillful of a player you are, that's going to happen. Whereas this game, I find that you can really kind of nudge and get a bit more ball time on it, because the outlane is less brutal, so you're keeping it in between the flipper. You have a little bit more chance to kind of nudge and keep it alive, and just overall, just an outstanding game. Neat theme integration. It works perfectly. That stepper going back and forth, incrementing all the way and then decrementing as you go up and down the field. And when it hits that last step on either end of the stepper, it scores the goal. Bing, scores the point. Just brilliant. This kind of stuff going on here. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If I missed anything, please add it in the comments. I love talking pinball. I love getting comments. I'm also just still starting out here, so the likes and the subscribes definitely help me trying to get a minimum number of subscribes just so I can start to changed the channel URL, so it's a little bit easier for me to tell people where to go. And I do plan on getting a lot more classic games up, just with some of my friends around here. We just have amazing collections that these games really have a story to be told, and looking forward to that, sharing that with all of you folks. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.